Hey everyone, welcome to That's Good Denver. I'm your host Chris Romeo, and today, with just baseball going on, I don't really watch that much baseball. We're gonna be starting a new series. Um, so I'm gonna be doing predictions for each NFL division starting today. Um, and I'm gonna do for each team in the division. I'm gonna do their ceiling of how high their highest possible record I think that it would be, and their floor, their worst possible record they would be, and then at the end rank all the teams in division. So for example, I'm going to be doing the AFC North for all four teams in that division, their ceiling, their floor, and rank them. How I think they'll do in the season. So that being said, yeah, nothing else much going on. Yeah, let's hop into the video. So, starting off with the AFC North, we got the Baltimore Ravens. And the Ravens, they had a lot of injuries last year. Lamar Jackson was out for the season. Um, and, they had a bunch of injuries on defense, left and right. And their offense, they had injuries to offense. They had injuries all over the place. They started off the season 8-3 last year and then played terrible down the stretch. I mean, there's not much they could have done about it. They finished 8-9 and just couldn't catch a break with injuries. I expect them to have a big bounce back year this year, assuming they stay healthy, assuming Lamar Jackson, continues to be a great running quarterback, and maybe improve a little bit on his throwing. Um, but I think they'll be really good. The ceiling for the Ravens, I see their ceiling being at about 13-4. Like if Lamar Jackson would pick up right where he left off, um, start clicking, everything be clicking, which is very possible. I think, there'll be chemistry issues, possibly a little bit. Um, Lamar Jackson being out last year, and like this were to be like if he would return to his MVP form and stuff. Um, but the Ravens' floor, I have their floor being at about 10-7. I would say their worst possible record. Um, a lot of this also depends on like their, if they'll have any injuries or if um, like their strength of their schedule. Looking at some of their games, they got some tough games. The Dolphins, the Bills, the Patriots, maybe the Bengals twice, the Browns twice, the Buccaneers, the Saints possibly depending on their quarterback situation, possibly the Steelers maybe, um, and yeah, so there's some tough games sprinkled in there for the Ravens, and later I'll predict their actual record. Next up, we got the Cleveland Browns. And the Browns, they're confusing. They're a hard team to predict right now. They have the roster. They have Nick Chubb as a running back. They have a decent defense, especially with Myles Garrett. Um, but like, is Deshaun Watson gonna play? What's the deal with the allegations? Like, it's been over a year right now with the allegations. There's still like 24 allegations with Deshaun Watson, and he's supposed to be the starting quarterback for the Browns, even if they keep Baker Mayfield. And then like Baker Mayfield's requesting trades. Well, is he going to go to the Seahawks? What's going on? So they're really hard to predict. If Deshaun Watson plays and everything goes well, I see the Browns ceiling. I see it being 11-6. They could be pretty good and like be a Super Bowl contending team with Deshaun Watson. But if Deshaun Watson doesn't play, things don't go very well. I see their floor being 6-11. I don't see them having a good year. They have a big differential between their ceiling and their floor. Um, Looking at the Browns schedule, um, my mouse can work. They have the Steelers, Ravens, Bengals twice. They have the Chargers. They have the Patriots. The Dolphins, the Bills, the Buccaneers, Tom Brady coming back. Saints maybe might be tough. Washington might be tough. And so yet again some tough games sprinkled in there. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. Next up we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know some Steelers fans, a lot of them. Um the Steelers it's going to be a weird year without Big Ben not being the quarterback for the first time like, since 2003 or something. I mean, he's had injury seasons, but like, he's been on the roster since. Now he's retired. Now I don't know if it's going to be Kenny Pickett or Mitchell Trubisky being the starting quarterback. Um, but they do have a very good defense. They do have a few weapons on offense. It just depends on the quarterback play, and there's a lot of question marks. Their offensive line honestly isn't very good. Najee Harris can be a good running back, but he needs an offensive line. A lot of people are saying the Steelers are going to be really bad this year, and I could see why they would think that. I don't think they're going to be as bad as some people think. I mean, like they could have a terrible season, sure, but I think they're going to be right out around 500 at least. I mean, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season with the Steelers. Mike Tomlin is a great coach that a lot of people don't think about. Um, and I think Mike Tomlin is like a Hall of Fame coach. Sure, he hasn't won a Super Bowl since 2008, but he's always led them possibly to the playoffs. They've always been at least 500, with even like rosters that haven't been that good necessarily. But the Steelers' ceiling, I have their ceiling being about 10-7. There's a good chance they could be a borderline playoff team and maybe even get in the playoffs like they did last year. I mean, last year they had a really good year getting in the playoffs at 10-7, I think it was, or 9-7-1, and getting there with Big Ben. They started off bad, like 1-3. Nobody gave them a chance, and like they just battled and battled, and they got blown out to the Chiefs in the first round. But I think the Steelers had a good year last year. They even beat the Broncos. When I went to that game, but um, Steelers had a good year last year, and it could be ceiling as 10-7. Their floor, though, I have their floor being about 6-11, though, same as the Browns. I mean, that's if like the quarterback situation doesn't work out, which is a really good chance of happening the first year with Mitchell Trubisky or Kenny Pickett, especially Kenny Pickett, because he's a rookie, and Mitchell Trubisky honestly isn't really a good quarterback. So we'll see. There's some question marks at the quarterback position that need to be answered for the Steelers. Um, real quick, going over the Steelers' schedule. Um, they got some tough games. The Bengals, Browns, Ravens in their division. Those are all playoff contending teams at least. Then they got the Bills, the Patriots, possibly the Buccaneers, the Dolphins, the Eagles, who are going to be good. The Colts. Their division, the Raiders too, who a lot of people are sleeping on. I hope they're not that good this year, but the Raiders are gonna be good. So they got a tough schedule for sure, especially um, since these other teams in the division might have more talent than the Steelers, but um, at the quarterback position at least. But we'll see. It'll be an uphill battle for them, but they can get it done. Uh, the Bengals, no, Cincinnati Bengals. Coming off the Super Bowl last year, making it to the Super Bowl, they had a great season last year. Surprised a bunch of people. Surprised the crap out of me in the AFC Championship game when they came back from 21-3 down to the Chiefs and came back and won that game. And like, what they're saying it's the fastest rebuild in NFL history from when the Bengals were 2 wins a couple seasons ago, going from making it to the Super Bowl with Joe Burrow making it to the playoffs. It was just an incredible season for them last year. Their offense was amazing. Looking at this year, though, people are thinking that it'll be a Super Bowl hangover for the Bengals. I don't really think so at all. They're still going to be a good team. I mean, I think there's definitely a good chance they'll win the division. Will they make it back to the Super Bowl? It's going to be really tough in the AFC with like the AFC West and like the Bills and all those teams. But like their defense has even gotten better and stuff. And Joe Burrow coming in his third year, Jamar Chase coming into his sophomore year with Joe Mixon. I mean, yeah, definitely watch out for this team. They have some high hopes. I have their ceiling being the same as the Ravens at 13-4. Um, this team like could get the number one seed possibly and make another run at the Super Bowl. It'll be really tough, but that's if things like start clicking with the Bengals offense and like they pick up right where they left off from last year, come up just short of the Super Bowl and try to make it back. Um, their floor, I have their floor being the same as the Ravens too. Not bad at all, 10-7. Um, you know, that's if they do get down a little bit about being losing the Super Bowl last year. Super Bowl hangovers do exist in a lot of teams' history. Um, but we'll see. I mean, I don't see this team being below 500 or the Ravens being below 500 if they stay healthy though. Um, and so looking at the Bengals schedule before we actually do the actual predictions for the divisions. Um, They got the Cowboys, who are tough. Their division, the Ravens, the Browns, possibly the Steelers, maybe the Saints. Um, they got the Titans, the Chiefs, the Buccaneers, the Bills, and the Patriots. It's a tough schedule. They might have the toughest schedule in division because they have the first place schedule because they're in first place last year. But um, we'll see. So that being said, I actually have it on my computer. My actual predictions for the division. So I have the Bengals at 12-5. I think they will win the division, be a win better than last year. I think they were 11-6 last year. Um, they'll be in the playoffs. The Ravens at 11-6. It will be borderline whether they make the playoffs this year. I have other divisions I need to predict, but I think they're going to have a big bounce back year with Lamar Jackson, and it's not going to be perfect for them. But Lamar Jackson's still a great running quarterback. He just needs to work on his throwing a little bit, but they're going to be a very solid team. Um, the Browns at 9-8. I it's just so hard to say right now with their quarterback situation. I mean, they could be. I don't think they're going to get in the playoffs this year. I mean, Deshaun Watson will probably play like at the end of the season, but like I don't think he's going to play at the beginning of the season with all the allegations and stuff. But who knows? The Steelers at 8-9. You know, I think it'll be okay. It won't be that bad of a season, but unfortunately, I have this being Mike Tomlin's first losing season. It's gonna be tough without Big Ben and with a rookie quarterback and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it'll be an uphill battle for them. But I still think the Steelers will be decently competitive. Um, and as you see here, like this is how I have the Bengals going 12-5, losing the Cowboys after being the Steelers week one, going 3-1, 3-2, 6-2, going 9-2 at one point. Um, dropping one of the Chiefs to end their winning streak. And yeah, only losing to really good teams basically. Um, then the Ravens. I have them beating the Jets week one, getting upset to the Dolphins. Then losing eventually to the Bills. Streaking up some wins till they lose to the Buccaneers. Streaking up 4 more wins in a row over the Broncos. Then to get upset by the Steelers, then lose to the Browns, win a couple in a row before probably losing the division to the Bengals because I just realized the Bengals were 12-5, Ravens were 11-6. Then the Browns, they'll win 2 easy games, week 1 and 2, lose to the Steelers, beat the Falcons, lose to a really good Chargers team. beat the Patriots, drop one to the Ravens, then the Bengals, then lose 5 in a row. At one point, because of the uncertainty at quarterback. Um, beat the Texans, lose to the Bengals, then win 4 in a row to end the season. So yeah, that's what happens, when Deshaun Watson, plays at the end of the season like I predicted. Um, the Steelers, on the other hand, they start off 3-1 after losing the Bengals. Then they lose 4 in a row to good teams. Um, win one, lose one, uh, win 3 in a row, 4 in a row actually, and then drop it final two. So they'll have a decent season, but I'm not sure if they can get in the playoffs necessarily. But uh, yeah, I hope I'm wrong unless it comes. But that's it about everybody. That is the AFC North. Yeah, probably the second best division in the AFC. Arguably the best, I guess, but I still think the AFC West is better. But that's the AFC North. I'm gonna do the rest of the divisions later on. But that's it, everybody. I'm Chris Romeo, and that's good, Denver.